Thank you. Welcome again. All right, so we are Secure Intelligence Limited, and we're having this webinar today with Trend Micro, and it's going to be an awesome time. It's going to be a very good experience, trust me. All right, so we are a technology service partner with highly skilled development team. We have four major arms of our businesses. We have SEAL teams where we have competent technology teams. We also have, the arm of the business that supports your technology infrastructure. All right, we call ourselves SEAL support. Okay, and also we have the tech talent pipeline, which is a SEAL academy, and we also build moonshot products. All right, and this is SEAL Ventures. All in all, we work with very wonderful core values. We are creative. We also build all our products and work with businesses from an integrity standpoint. We value human, and that's why one of our core values is human first. Okay, and excellence, of course, with an undisputed delivery. That's who we are. All right, so we are going to be having this webinar titled Decoding an Attacker's Playbook with Trend Micro. And this is the agenda. So first, we'll look at the evolving threat landscape. We're also going to look at how to actually decode the attacker's playbook, or what exactly is this attacker's playbook, and also the techniques, with advanced threat hunting with Trend Micro. So we have speakers from SEAL, all right, and we also have a speaker from Trend Micro. And lastly, we're going to be looking at SEAL approach to threat hunting. And don't worry, we'll take your questions. We'll also give answers. And of course, there's something at the end of this webinar. So you need to stay tuned to the end of this webinar. All right. So without further ado, let's make welcome the first speaker for today. She is Omodesola Owojori, and she's a cybersecurity engineer here at SEAL. She's going to be taking us on the evolving threat landscape and really explaining to us what this is all about as we get into the webinar proper. Hello, Desola. How are you today?
Thank you very much, Neye. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Omodesola Owojori, as she said. I work at SEAL as a cybersecurity engineer, where I focus on the managed detection and response service, where we monitor, respond, and detect threat activity in the environment. All right, so today's topic is on decoding an attacker's playbook, as the host has said, and advanced threat hunting with Trend Micro. But before we move into all of that, I would just like to talk a bit about the cybersecurity threat landscape today. All right, so in 2024, the global cost of cybercrime was estimated at $9.5 trillion. And also, every 39 seconds, someone falls victim to a cybersecurity attack. The statistics on cyber attack out there is really staggering, and it is a call to action to us as business leaders and IT professionals to understand that we need to put robust security measures in place. And we also need to understand that security is not an option, but it is a must and a continuous effort to us as business leaders and IT professionals. So you might also be wondering that your business is small and you've never had an incident within your organization. There's no need to, or maybe we can handle this project later. Security is not something that is important to deal with right now. It shouldn't be so, because, as I said earlier, security is a must. So you might be wondering that, your business is small, and your business is a small business. But in 2021, according to various database reports, 46% of all cyber attacks worldwide affected business fewer than 1,000 employees. So it is not about the size of the organization. It is about the intent of the attackers. So these threats that we talk about, they are not entirely new, but they just got more complex and sophisticated. And in the past year, there has been an increase in these attacks. I'm talking about a few of them. So we have ransomware. Ransomware is a kind of attack that your files and your data gets encrypted, and you have to pay a ransom to get them back. And it has even gotten to now we have something called ransomware as a service model, where even people that don't have the skill, they are not skilled enough, they can buy the model from ransomware developers and buy the kits from the developers and use it to perpetrate these attacks. I read the Trend Micro intelligence reports for first half of the year in 2024, and ransomware was one of the top threats that was plaguing different sectors like the technology, the banking, and healthcare sectors, with Lockbit as the leading ransomware in the data that was provided. So we also have Gen AI powered attacks. So with Gen AI is everyone is using Gen AI now, and it is very beneficial to everyone. But the attackers, it's also beneficial to the attackers as well, because they are able to leverage it to create sophisticated phishing email, where it gets even more difficult for you to decipher if the email is real or not. So it looks really real and it's hard to decipher. And we also have creation of deep fakes, where your colleague or a prominent figure is impersonated, and it looks so real. They use the tech to model the voice and the appearance of the person, and it looks really real. And in the news, we've heard about people falling victim to deepfakes. We also have supply chain attacks. Supply chain attack is one of the common attacks that we have now, where attackers are able to infiltrate organizations through third-party vendors. So this occurs several times, because you might be thinking that, oh, if I outsource this, I would not, nothing is going to happen. But a lot can go wrong, because you can inherit the risk of the supplier or the third-party vendor. So also these are just some of the attacks that has been happening. There are a lot more, but I'm just going to talk about those few. And now, so why does the threat landscape keep evolving? We have newer technologies. We have AI, we have machine learning, IoT, and these newer technologies, they are so beneficial, but there is no technology advancement that does not come with a risk. And this risk, the threats are part of the risk that emerge from the use of this technology. So we also have increased connectivity. Advancement in technology has led to increased connectivity, where we even have more devices on the internet, and networks are interconnected, so leading to a larger attack surface for security professionals to even handle. So the attack surface gets wider. The attack surface gets wider for the attackers to exploit. So they have more vulnerabilities to exploit and more. Also, we have sophisticated attacker. That's another reason why the landscape keep evolving. So the attackers are also sophisticated as well. As much as we have technology advancement, it is beneficial, but also it causes and it's beneficial to the attackers as well, because they are making a lot of money from this. Is a whole business, a whole operation that they are making a lot of money from. So this, like I mentioned earlier, we have the AI powered attacks. So the attackers are able to, they are even more skilled and more equipped with tools to use to perpetrate these attacks. And there's a human factor. Human factor is one of the leading cause of cyber attacks today, because human make mistake. You have human error. When a phishing email is sent, it is human that click on the phishing email that leads to exploitation or malicious activity within the environment. So also we have misconfiguration. Humans, it's possible to, there can be cloud misconfiguration, also misconfiguration in security settings. Sometimes humans get tired and this mistake can just happen. So this is also why the threat landscape keeps evolving, and also skill gap. So with the advent of all this technology, the skill gap too has gotten wider. There's a need for a lot of security professionals to be well equipped to be able to tackle all these risks and threats that we see in our landscape today. So, not to take too much of your time, I have uh, spoken a bit about the evolving threat landscape, and I would like to introduce the second speaker, Mr. Adedayo, a seasoned sales engineer from Trend Micro. He will be speaking on decoding and attackers playbook, showing us advanced threat hunting with Trend Micro. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Desola. Yeah, my name is Adedayo. Actually, I work with Trend Micro. I'm a sales engineer, and I look after business from the technical aspect in the West. So in West Africa. So today, so excited to talk about decoding the attacker's playbook, primarily with our tool, which is our Trend Vision 1. But first of all, let's take a step back and look at how we actually even got here. Isola has talked a lot around the increasing threat landscape. But what are the drivers? What are the factors that are contributing to this ever-expanding threat landscape? So if we look back a bit, we'll see that in the last few years, there's been a lot of digital transformation. Businesses want to shorten their go-to-market time. They want to shorten the reaction time to customers' demand. So with all this driver, they want trying to move a lot of their applications to the cloud so that they can quickly roll out. They want to make their workers more agile. They want them to be able to work from their homes, hotel, so that they can shorten that reaction time. People are now moving their applications to the cloud because of the reliability and the huge benefit. But if we remember, we're coming from where we have everything within the perimeter, uh, within the perimeter of our data center. But now we want to be agile, so we are now exposing quite a lot of our applications to to the world, so that we could react as quickly as possible. For organizations, it's a huge benefit. But for the threat actors, they are even more happier, if there's any English like that. Why? Because they now have quite a lot of vectors to come into most organizations. It could be from outside. It could also be from the inside. Take a look at the economy. There's a lot of, insiders who are maybe disgruntled. They want to, sabotage the system, relying on the external attackers. So if you look at all this, we can see that there's a lot of involvement. So we can also not to talk about the state actors. Now, these are the threat actors. If we try to look at how their activities are emerging, it could be from the email. It could be they are trying to exploit maybe applications that are vulnerable. They could also rely on the supply chain. A lot of developments are being done using open source and things like that. Now, if you look at this, it looks a little bit erratic, from emails, from exploiting applications, from open source. But as a threat analyst, we should be able to, map it to a pattern, right? And that is what MITRE has already helped us with. If you look at it very well, there's kind of like a pattern. They want to do that reconnaissance, try to get, credentials for them to be able to go do the initial access. When they're able to get into the perimeter, they want to move laterally within the organizations where the valuable assets will be. And from there, they want to start, moving those valuable assets. Like I said, it might look erratic, but there is a pattern that is attached to it. So as a threat analyst, we must be able to map out those patterns. And with Trend Micro, we only have one single approach, one single platform for that, which is our Trend Vision One. If you look at the platform, it's kind of like a shift from the traditional way of, protecting and detecting and response. We are shifting from silo security into a single platform. And what are the benefits of having a single platform? If, for instance, you are threat hunting, you might not even know where the attack is actually coming from. It could be from email, it could be from endpoint, it could be from the server. So these are silos. There might not be a very good handshake between the tools that we're actually using for those threat hunting. But with Trend Vision One, which is built ground up based on the NIST cybersecurity framework, which revolve around 5 key pillars. That is the ability to be able to identify that there's threats within the ecosystem, being able to build wall, that is protect your critical infrastructure, whether it is email, whether it is endpoint, whether it is server. Now, if there's a glitch at the protection layer, you must have in place tools for you to be able to see that threat, to detect that threat. And detection is not enough. You must also have in place tools to respond without actually firefighting. When you respond, you must also be able to recover from that threat. So if you look at the screen, you will see at the middle, you have all those protections, building wall around your email, around your endpoint. And on top of that, you have the sensors picking telemetry data, that is activity data, sending them into the data lake. I'll show you how logically the architecture is. So here, you can see different, beyond the protection, different sensors within the email, within the endpoint, within your cloud, within the critical applications and infrastructure that you have, sending telemetry or activity data into the data lake. And behind the data lake, we have what we call the security analytic engine. What this does is that it correlates those patterns that I was talking about and then map it to the rules, that is observe attack techniques, and also validate those rules with the threat intelligence in form of the sticks, IOCs, and then able to now, present the analyst with that high fidelity alert that it can work on, right? I'm still going to show you all this from the dashboard. You can now do the triage, do forensic incident response. And our platform, we're not an island. We have that capability to integrate with whatever solutions that you have at the moment, whether at the identity, phase, that is your Active Directory, Microsoft Entra ID, your vulnerability protection. So we are taking intelligence from all the other solutions and also sharing intelligence with them. Now, this solution now gives you a picture of the two worlds, right? As a threat analyst, you have to be a little bit proactive and at the same time be a little bit reactive. Let us assume the threat is within the organization already. So for you to be able to be proactive, that platform has what we call the cyber risk exposure management. This is kind of like an helicopter view on top of your infrastructure, right? It gives you end-to-end visibility, and there is no hiding place for the bad guys within your environment. The question is, how does it do that? There are 3 steps to doing it. We have that ability to discover. It has the ability to discover what you cannot see, you cannot protect actually. So we're talking about expanding attack surface. So it has that capability to discover all your assets, wherever it is, whether it's in the cloud, AWS, Azure, or on-premise, and then be able to assess if there's any vulnerability or any misconfiguration within those environments, so that the bad guys will not actually capitalize on that, and then guide you on how to mitigate against any threat that might evolve from that. That is being proactive. Now, talking about being reactive, let us even assume that the bad guy is already within the environment. You must have that capability to be able to detect that the bad actor is within the organization. It's not only about detecting, you must be able to tell the story around that attack. That is ability to be able to investigate. How did they even come in to begin with? Whether it was a spray and pray attack, everybody got the email. It was the patient zero that downloaded the email, and then the macro on that attachment got run. You must be able to tell the story behind the attack. It's not only about investigating or telling the story, but you must be able to respond to protect your organization from those bad guys. Now, the question is, how do we hunt through this vision 1? The first thing is, at least the threat hunter must be a little bit knowledgeable, must be able to visualize the kill chain. When I talk about kill chain, the pattern in which the attack is, the phases of the attack, you must be able to understand and visualize that kill chain. And the tool will definitely help you, because it is correlating the telemetry to be able to give you that visibility. So you have the sensor at the endpoint, you have the sensor at the email, you have the sensor in the on the server, on the network. So the security analytic engine helps the threat analyst to correlate all this and then give you a quicker identification of that indicator of attack. On the dashboard, which I'm going to show you, you'll be able to visualize that attack. And if you want to investigate, you still want to search or threat hunt, it's just like an hunter looking for his prey. You don't know where the prey is. You don't know where the bad actor is within your environment. The dashboard will help you to be able, to keep moving within your environment to identify where the bad guy is actually, hiding. Now, there are some apps on the dashboard that can quickly help you. We have the threat insights and also the intelligence report. Like I said, Trend Micro is not an island. We also take feed from other security agents into our environment. We have the threat insight. The threat insight is more like the campaign intelligence. We have globally quite a lot of emerging threats and it's different threat actors within the environment. Our threat research lab is conducting quite a lot of research into the trends of threats that we see around, and then put all this information within the platform. Then we have our detection model. Everybody's talking about AI, we're talking about machine learning. Also, like the way you can model events, you can model 3D. You can also model the malicious objects also. So the way it works is that the sensor within the environment take features of anything that connotes malicious, run it against that model, and then the observe attack techniques get fired if there's a match. Now, before the attack, observe attack techniques get fired, the security analytic engine, which is SAE here, get run, does the correlation, run it against this rule, and then you get that alert. On the workbench, this is where an analyst wants to spend most of his time, because this is where all the events are tied together, and the analyst will want to do the triage and things like that. Now, as a threat hunter, such tool I also show you will be a very good place for you. It helps to dig into the tactics, techniques, and procedure of most of these guys. Now, take for instance, if you are doing the search, you are unable to get anything at the moment, you can also fire up what we call the watch list. This is kind of like a watcher that you just keep like a bot. Let me use that word, like a bot that when you are not there keeps looking for that indicator of attack. And if there's any found within your infrastructure, you get notified. When you get notified, what can you do? You can use the block IOC app also to block it. I said we can integrate with different third party. You can integrate with firewall. That block IOCs will be called, a list will be prepared, and other third party and even Trend Micro protection suite will have a copy of it, and then can start execute whatever action that you have configured on it. Then we have that security cable. As a security business unit, that team is against the wall. It might just be 5 guys, but you don't know how many bad actors are interested in your environment. You can use your time, your valuable time very well by, all the routine tasks. You can group them into what we call a playbook. So you can fire it on manually, you can schedule it, and it goes within your infrastructure, following all the tasks, and then give you report. So all the routine job, you kind of like lift it to the playbook. Now let us even assume that all these things will not come bring any result. Will not make any security risk around what you're actually hunting for, right? That IOC, that indicator of attack, you can put it in a sandbox. We call it a single source of truth. Therein, you will, that indicator of compromise or whatever will be allowed to detonate, and whatever action it's trying to do will connote whether it's actually malicious or not. So let's look at it one after the other, right? I talked about being proactive, giving you that 30,000 feet view on top of your environment. That is a cyber risk exposure management. Here, it will give you an indicator of how well your environment is. So if you look here, it is showing 68. So it's a scale of 1 to 100, 100 being the worst, 1 being the best. Here, it is hovering over average. The question is, how are we coming about this figure? We're looking at 3 key factors. That is the exposure index. Exposure in the sense that what are the vulnerabilities that we are seeing within your environment? What are the misconfigurations that we are seeing within your environment? The second factor is the attack index. How are the bad actors trying to exploit those vulnerabilities that is being, that we are seeing within your environment? And then the last factor is, what do you actually have security-wise within your arsenal to counter those attacks. All this goes into that mathematics that brings about this 68. So it gives the management that visibility on how risky that their environment is. Not only showing you how risky the environment is, it also has that capability to show you the remediation step. So it's not telling you the riskiness, but also guiding you on how to come about, to remediate that risk. You can look at the company-wide. You can also look at individual assets within your organization. Now, let's talk about the reactive. The bad guy is already trying to come into the environment. We have what we call the detection model. I talked about it the other time. This is kind of like a model, machine learning model. We have the predictive machine learning model. We also have the execution machine learning model. I'll show you on the dashboard different kind of scenarios are model and features within the environment in terms of maybe the IOCs will be taken and then run against this model. And if there is a match, you get an alert that the analyst can actually work upon. And if there's a match, the alert you will get will be the attack techniques. It will tell you a little bit story around it, and then what are the steps that you can actually take. Now, I talked about the workbench. Workbench is where security analysts want to spend most of his time. Here, all the silos are, linked together, whether detections within the endpoints, email, all the correlations and all the alerts that are fired are graphically tied together here, and the analysts can now do the triage, can now open case and things like that. We also have what we call, we have the incident view. Incident view is a collection of the alert into a single incident, right? So this is what we have here. And then you also have the search app. If you are a threat hunter, you should be familiar. This is the area you should be playing, right? Search app is, for instance, you take note of an IOC or an IP address, or that can be an indicator of maybe an attack. You can, and you're not so sure whether you have it within your environment. What you just need to do is just come to the search app, just like you are firing up your browser, putting the Google, going to Google, putting in whatever you want to search, exactly like the search app. Put in the IOC there, search it, and it's going to sweep through all your entire infrastructure, come up with whatever area it will come to, and then show you what is actually seen. Let us even assume that it doesn't see anything. You can now create a search query. We call it the watch list, and that watch list will keep, like a bot, keep searching until it gets, if it actually is there, we'll see it and then notify you. When you get notified, you can now put it in a suspicious object. You can use suspicious object management to collect all those indicators of compromise, and whatever action you want to actually perform, you can do it here. You can block, you can submit it to sandbox, you can do whatever. And the cool thing about the suspicious object management is that it's also a threat intelligence within the organization. Why? Because it can share all those IOCs that it has found or you have submitted to it with other security tools within your infrastructure. Then we have what we call the threat intelligence. Nobody is an island and nobody knows it all, right? So apart from our 15 research lab that day in, day out, what they do is look out for different threats and then, pushing it to our customers' environment. We also subscribe to other feed. So if you look here, you can see, yes, Trend Micro is there, but we also subscribe to corporate security vendors, to government in Europe, and also in North America, threats, information sharing organizations, and other security vendors that we cannot actually mention here. So nothing is new in the world. Some other people might have seen that IOC before, but it has not gotten to your environment. So we share that, we collate it, and share that with your organization so that when it comes, definitely it's going to be flagged. And also, we have what we call the campaign intelligence. We have collections of nothing just happened in the world. We have different threat actors, different threat organizations that they have different kind of motivations, for what they are doing. Some are doing it for financial gain, some are doing it to prove a point, some are doing it for different religions. So we have that information, and then we know the way they perpetrate their acts. These are their tactics, techniques, and procedure. So all these things, what are the tools they are actually using? We have those intelligence within the campaign intelligence, and then you can now track. Take for instance, if it is APT 29, you want to be sure that APT 29 is not targeting your environment. Because we know the tool that they use, because we know their TTPs, we can help you to sweep through your organization infrastructure to be sure that we are not having their trace therein. And also, the tool is very it's allow bringing your threat intelligence. So beyond all the threat intelligence that we are out of the box that are with the tool, you can also bring, maybe you are subscribing to maybe Facebook threat intelligence, you are subscribing to SANS or any other threat intelligence. So far they speak taxi 2.0 or 2.1. You can also bring it into this platform to enrich all your threat hunting. Now, I've been talking about indicator of attack, indicator of compromise, indicator of these are something like IP addresses, URLs, domains. All these things can change. But what cannot change is the way the bad actor actually conducts their attack. And that is what we call the TTPs. They use the same tool, they use the same procedure and things like that. You can also, this tool and this platform can also help you to do a threat-based hunting based on those TTPs. Because the IOCs can change, the techniques can not change. I talked about the playbooks the other time. You may have a team of 5 or 6, but you are against the world. So you want to use your time for, your valuable time for something that will definitely bring security value to the organization. All the routine tasks, you can, arrange them, organize them into what we call a playbook, right? So if it's, you are looking for vulnerabilities, you are looking for a set of indicator of compromise, you can put it in a set of playbook, and then you can fire it. So you can now concentrate on, looking at the case, doing the investigations that might result from the output of the playbook. Now, let us even assume you're unable to make any security risk out of all these things we are talking about. We have a single source of truth. We call it a sandbox. It is cloud-based. So it's an app, a virtual environment that manage and analyze objects that is either you submit manually or the system submit the tool submit it herein. Within that virtual environment, it is secure. Whatever that object wants to do, it will allow it to do it. And if, for instance, it's a POTI file submitted to it, POTI is used for remote, management, but now it starts writing something into the registry. You know that that is not normal. It is malicious. Whatever it will bring it back that this object is malicious, and then the suspicious object management will now collect this, share it with other threats, with other security tools, and whatever action has been configured for that kind of object will now be carried out. I've been talking about, doing threat hunting, looking for the bad guys. As an analyst, what can you do? You have quite some actions that can be carried out even from the dashboard. If it is a user that probably the account is compromised or whatever, you can disable that user. If it is an email that is, containing maybe malicious object and things like that, you can quarantine it. You can even from the dashboard delete all the emails from the mailbox of all the users, even the endpoint. From the dashboard, you can schedule, scan, you can isolate the machine from the network. It's epidemic, you don't want it to contaminate other ones. You can even add it to a block list and do quite a lot from the dashboard. Apart from hunting, you're able to get that something is malicious, the tool equip you to respond even without leaving the environment. So I will quickly show you the demo of how the environment actually, 1 second. If you can see this is the platform that I talked about. Here we are looking at the cyber risk exposure, but I don't want to talk more around that. What are the tools that we have? If you come here, you see the threat intelligence. Here, let me quickly enable it real quick. Right. So here, this is a campaign. You can see my screen. This is the campaign intelligence that we actually let me share. I believe you can all see my screen. So this is the campaign intelligence. We have different emerging threats that our research lab has been, looking at kind of threats that is there, and even the threat actors that are out there. Can you okay, sorry, my network is a little bit slow, but yeah, it's coming up. So here you can see what tools are these threat actors actually using. What are their techniques? You can see what tool are they using. This is the malware. This is the malware that they're actually using. See my screen now? Okay, fantastic. So still the techniques and tactics that they are using. What are the intelligence report? Oh. Okay, sorry about that. So what are the intelligence report talking about these threat actor? So you have quite a lot of them. Now let's talk. I talked about the search app the other time. Here, if you look at the search app, here you can query. You as a threat hunter, it's just like an hunter looking for a spray. So I have maybe an IOC, and then I'm trying to check it whether it is within my environment or not. And I can look at it from here. Even if I can't find it, I can come to the search query. This is one. Let me load this. Okay, so this is the query. I'm looking for a bot command. And then this is what I've been able to find. Now, if you look at this, I can, let us assume I'm only seeing only one. Let us assume I didn't see any. I can fire up a watch list. And what this will do is that it will kind of like a bot looking around my environment, combing it. And when it combs it, let me find out again, it's going to set, I can set an alert. So if I click on the alert, I can put maybe one of the junior analysts into it and said, okay, keep watching over this. I have a very slow network. Apologies about that. So you can see I can put Taran to keep watching over this. Can get it via the email. If you are using Slack or Teams or whatever, I can configure a webhook so that although I'm not seeing it today, if it comes tomorrow, I'm going to get a Slack notification around that. And then we have the workbench. Just to quickly let you, because of time, I'll just show you one of the workbench and what are what are the response that you can actually, so here you can see if this user is compromised, I can right click, I can disable this user. If I know that, yes, the account is compromised, I can force him out of, force him to sign out of that environment. I know that it's not disorder, I can force him or force her to reset password. So quite a lot of things that I can actually do here. So I don't know if there's any, so I will pass the baton back to Queen. So if there's any questions, if there's anything that we just need to look at.
Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation, Adedayo. It was really explanatory. I think myself and everybody on this call, we have a bigger knowledge of how we can decode an attacker's threat now. But before we take questions, I would like to just pass it the button back to Omodesola so she can conclude and just share a little bit more information with us about what we're discussing right now. So Omodesola, please, we would like you to give your conclusion.
Thank you very much, Queen. So talking about CIL's approach to threat hunting, Mr. Adedayo has done a lot of justice to that. But also, I would like to say that here at CIL, we use cutting-edge tools that has XDR capabilities, machine learning, AI, and also AI capability. And also, we combine that with human expertise. We have a team of skilled engineers that work together with this tool to threat hunt. The engineers stay up to date with information about attackers' technique and tactics, so they are able to threat hunt effectively. For the threat hunting, and so in order for you to be able to secure anything, at least you need to have visibility into what you are going to secure. So we deploy agents and sensors on our network, our endpoints, email. So we deploy that, and The sensor collects events, security events, and system activity data are collected and sent to the XDR data lake. So this data, the data sent to the data lake, the data collected is analyzed in the data lake. So we use in the Trend Micro, we use the intelligence reports and threat insights to be able to, like Mr. Adedaya shed light on, we use that to be able to auto sweep against data that has been collected to find out any indicator of attack or compromise within our environment. We also use the search query. So that helps us to be able to, if there's a hypothesis of an hypothesis based on maybe there's a new attack that is being talked about, can search for that attack if it has any impact on your environment or on your system. So we're able to do that. I don't want to take too much of your time, but Mr. Adedayo has talked a lot about Trend Micro and how you can use it to threat hunt. So in conclusion, I'd like to say that Trend Micro offers a comprehensive next generation cybersecurity solution designed for all businesses. It is better to use a proactive approach for your security rather than a reactive approach. It is not until there is an incident before you take action. Be equipped before and stay ahead of cyber criminals. And Trend Micro is the tool that allows you to be able to do all. It is a unified to use it at CIL because it encompasses solutions and services that perform multiple security functions. So this helps you to be able to mitigate risks before they become incidents. And that is what security is all about in this cyber threat landscape today. Thank you very much. Over to you, Queen.
Thank you so much, Omodetola, for that wonderful conclusion. So we have good news for you. You know, we always have good news for you every time here at Cecure Intelligence Limited. On the 15th of March, we're going to be having a roundtable. Now, the good news about this roundtable for the attendees on this call, please take very significant note of this, is that we could either come to you or you could come to us. So if you're in Lagos, Nigeria, or in any part of Nigeria, and you want to join us in our Lagos office on the 13th of March, or you want us to come to you, you can also let us know about that. This is a roundtable that is very intimate, where any challenges you have that is specific to your organization, we can come in with our experts, or you can come to us and we can discuss it for some hours and see how we can help you. So this is an intimate situation where we discuss with you. You can disclose your organization's difficulties with security. If you want some solutions, we can give you solutions during this roundtable. So please don't forget, put on your calendar, note it down, 13th of March, we are having a roundtable to discuss cyber security, just more about it, more than what Omodetola and Adedayo have currently discussed. But also, before we go, I have one question. And this question is for Adedayo. Adedayo, I hope you are still with us. How does the solution handle large data sets and scale for enterprise-size organizations? The solution you just demoed, how does it handle large data sets and scale for enterprise-size solutions or organizations?
Thanks a lot, Queen. I think you're just giving me a blank check to write on. Number one, when it comes to our solution is enterprise, right? And what that means is that we scale easily, irrespective of the number of devices or critical assets you want to protect or threat hunt, we can onboard to the platform. And when it comes to sweeping being and within your environment, we rely actually on the activity data, which is quite different from what other vendors will do using the logs. So activity data are very small in format, and they are rich in information that can help to do threat hunting and things like that. But when it comes to onboarding large amount or protecting large amounts of devices, yes, the solution is enterprise. We can definitely handle it, and we've not had any issue of customer complaining about their number of assets that we're looking at and the rest. I don't know whether that answered that questions for the attendee, Queen.
Yes, thank you very much, Adedayo. That answered the question. Now, before we go, there's reports have it that the average cost of a data breach is now over $2.9 million for a very large organization. That does not mean this doesn't cost across smaller organizations. So think about it. It is better to have prevention in terms of security than having to get a cure and pay so much. And that is why we at Cecure Intelligence Limited, we are partnered with cybersecurity organizations like Trend Micro, who know what they are doing in the cybersecurity sphere. So please, you can take this to another level with us by getting support from us here at Cecure Intelligence Limited. Do not forget to click on the calendar link in the question and answer section. If you need to book a consultation meeting with a sales development representative, my link is there. So if you click on it, you can book a meeting with me, and I'll come into the call with any of the experts that you need to speak to, whether it be on cybersecurity or any of the other things that we do here at Cecure Intelligence Limited. Also, do not forget to fill the feedback form. Let us know how the webinar went. Let us know what you think about how the webinar was done, and we'll be happy to improve on the things that you need us to improve on. Thank you for joining us today. You know, we're always happy and grateful to have you here every time. If you want to connect with us, you can connect with us on any of our social media pages. On Instagram, we're still_team. On LinkedIn, we're Cecure Intelligence. On Twitter or X, we are at still_team. On Facebook, we are still teams. On YouTube, where you can go and see a pre-recorded version of this webinar, we're at youtube.com/@still_team. Thank you for joining us today, and we would love to see you in our next webinar. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.